Hey, Daddy.
Let's say good evening to everyone. I'd like to call the public hearing of the Madison County Planning and Zoning to order. If you would, please stand for me for a word of prayer and we'll get started. Call God our Fathers once again that we're found in our presence, thanking Thee for life, health, and strength. Father, we thank You for traveling mercy, allowing us to come and to meet together tonight. Father, we ask that You bless each and every one of the sound of my voice. Father, we ask that You get into our minds as we try to do business with the county and make the right decisions. Father, we ask that You bless each and every one here, not only the ones here, but this entire world. And our Father will be so careful to give You honor, praise, and glory. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. First of all, let me thank you for your participation tonight. My name is Canola Scott. I'm the chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. And this is what we're all about. When people show up to express their opinions as to what's going on in their county, because this is who it actually belongs to. I don't have any specific announcements tonight, but I would like to let the planning and zoning members and the staff introduce themselves and tell you the area that they represent. Starting with my left.
Good evening, Bruce Candy. I represent District 5.
Cynthia Fortson, District 3.
Jeff Bradley, Vice Chair in District 1.
Lee Mitchell, District 2.
Melissa Payne, zoning clerk. Tracy Patrick, zoning administrator.
Of course, we have our attorney with us, Mike Freud, tonight, and we have one of our members that's sick. tonight and not be able to join us, the representative for District 4. Okay. All right. The first order of business tonight, I'm required to read a few statements regarding the zoning process. If you have questions, I will address them once I finish. Zoning directly affects private property rights, which include the right of the property owner to the enjoyment of the use of their property, and the right of adjacent owners and general public not to be unreasonably harmed by specific land use. Tonight is the first of 2 public hearings. A second public hearing will be held before the Board of Commissioners on November 3rd in this location at 6 p.m. Attendance is not required, but your attendance is recommended. As to the order of business tonight, I will introduce the applicant, and then the zoning administrator will give her comments. Then the applicant will come forward, state their name and address, and state their reasons for their request. You may provide information or documentation supporting the application. Next, the P&Z Commission will have the opportunity to ask the applicant questions. Next, I will open the floor for public comment. Ample time will be given to those that may want to speak in opposition, in favor of, or in opposition of the zoning request. All comments will be addressed to the commission, not to each other in attendance. No personal attacks will be allowed. Next, the applicant will be allowed ample time to rebut any concerns expressed by other speakers. At this junction, no other comments will be allowed except by the board. Then I will open a special session of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Then I will ask for a motion to approve, to deny, or approve with conditions. The recommendation will be presented on Monday night, November 3rd, to the Board of Commissioners. The Planning and Zoning Commission is a recommending board only. The final decision will be made by the Board of Commissioners. At this juncture, does any member of the P&Z need to recuse themselves for any other request tonight?
Yes, I did number 10.
Mr. Bradley has recused himself for item number 10 on the agenda. So therefore, he will not be able to vote on that particular issue. All right. We will get started with our new business. Number 1, Kevin and Marty Chandler.
Mandy.
Mandy, I'm sorry.
Kevin and Mandy Chandler are requesting to rezone a 4-acre portion of their 28.25 acres from A1 to AR to allow it to be split and gifted to their son for a home site, and to rezone the remaining 24.25 acres from A1 to A2 to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 200 Terry Ford Road in Danielsville on map 50, parcel 5701 in District 4.
All right. Chandler, are you present? Please come forward, state your name, and tell us any additional comments you'd like to make.
Name Kevin Chandler, wife Mandy Chandler. We want to give our son some land to build a house on. We wanted to just give him 2 acres, so we had to do at least 4. But other than that, just to build a home site on.
All right, any questions from the board? Thank you very much. All right, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone here who wants to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. And I will entertain a motion to approve, to deny, or approve with conditions.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
We approve as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Have a second. Any comments? Any additional questions from the board? Not, Mr. Gandy?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, Ms. Chandler, your motion has been approved. Again, the final decision will be made on November 3rd, so I suggest that you try to come if you can.
Thank you.
All right, number 2, Dennis and Deborah Adams.
Chairman Scott, if you would like to take agenda items 2 and 3 up as one vote.
All right, let's do that.
The same property owners, and I will read both application requests.
All right,
Deborah and Dennis Adams are requesting to rezone their 23.39 acres from A1 to A2 to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit for a child. The property is located at 795 Hardman Hooper Road in Hull on map 16, parcel 54 in District 1. And the second application is Dennis and Deborah Adams are requesting to rezone their 22.27 acres from A1 to A2 to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. Property is located at 0 Hardman Hooper Road in Hull on map 16, parcel 6902 in District 1.
all right, Dennis or Deborah Adams, are you in attendance? Anybody to represent them? Okay, nobody has to be present, so I will open the public hearing. If anyone wants to speak for this rezone request. Hearing none, is there anyone wants to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board and I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to pass, to approve these two.
So a motion to approve items 2 and 3.
Second.
Second. Any questions from the board?
So I just want to know, was that road gonna house the barn, the house and the 81 road, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Any
One
further-
driveway, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any more questions or comments? All right, Cynthia?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. All right, items 2 and 3 will be presented to the Board of Commissioners, and we will recommend approval. Number 4, Adam Swan, applicant for James Bergdahl.
He is requesting a rezone of 4.4 acre portion of his 15.16 acres from A2 to R1 to sell and combine with Mr. Swan's adjoining property identified as parcel 4038 for desired additional road frontage, and the remaining 10.76 acres will stay in the A2 zone. The property is located at 973 Floyd Road in Danielsville on map 40, parcel 44 in District 2.
All right, anyone here to represent Mr. Swan or Bergdahl? Ms. Patrick, I think you have some additional comments at this point.
I do. One of our commissioners has some concerns with the property that this acreage will be absorbed into, and has requested the board to postpone it until our November the 18th meeting to allow additional time to iron out a few details about the request.
Okay?
Yeah, it's okay with that.
He is, I notified him, and I have his consent.
Okay, we gotta make a motion for that, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to postpone to, that make sense?
November 18th.
November 18th. We have a, motion on the floor to, item number 4, to postpone until our November public hearing.
Okay.
Have a second? Any questions? All right,
Yes.
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 All right, this will be, has been postponed and be heard on November 18th, public hearing. At that time, the applicant, will bring it before the board. Number 5.
Shane Elrod, applicant for his father Randall Elrod, is requesting to rezone his 4.83 acres from A2 to AR to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit for his son. The property is located at 104 Mountain View Lane in Danielsville on map 11, parcel 115 in District 1.
All right, Mr. Elrod?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Nunn?
No, sir.
You wanna add to that?
I'm just, trying to put a home on my father, he's retired, trying to cut all the corners, put a home on it with him and help pay the taxes and so forth, and make a homestead out of it.
Any questions for Mr. Elrod? If not, thanks, sir.
Thanks, sir.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, anyone want to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve as presented.
I have a motion from Mr. Gander to approve as presented. Second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Any comments or questions? All right, Lee? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Elrod, this will come before the Board of Commissioners on November 3rd. We will recommend approval.
Thanks, sir.
All right, number 6.
H. Joe, applicant for ADE 1187 LLC, is requesting a conditional use for the 36.83 acre property to allow the operation of an equine therapy business on the property. Property is located at 1194 Adderhold Rogers Road in Commerce on map 12, parcel 70-01 in District 1.
Joe?
I did share in there, I believe there's a report that I wrote just talking about the business and what we do. It's something I've been in for 10 years and I've seen so many lives change. We just moved up here in July, so it's something I'm hoping I can bring to this community too.
All right, have any questions from the board?
How many horses?
I have 8. The way the program works, we just go out with the horses, and whichever ones want to come up and participate can, and if they, excuse me, if they don't, then they don't come up. So we don't force any of them to come in. They're at liberty as our clients. We have 2 facilitators that are out there at all times when we have sessions. So one is a licensed mental health counselor, and the other is myself. I'm in the role as the equine specialist.
Could you explain just a little bit more about the actual treatment itself? I mean, we don't ride the horse.
There's no riding component to this. It's all on the ground, so we work on a behavior and relationship aspect. So it works with a multitude of people, really. We've treated veterans, we've treated children, we've treated families. Basically, any counseling we can do in office, we take out in the field. So we work on things like depression and anxiety and PTSD, all from that relationship standpoint, so people, because horses are prey animals and they respond in the moment to what we're bringing, it allows people to try out current behaviors, see what works and what doesn't, and they can shift right in the moment and try a different approach and get a different response. So it really helps people see right there in the moment, oh, when I came this way, they ran away from me. But when I changed and I walked this way, they had a very different response. Sometimes we'll do grounding activities, just, the horses will have a different response when you're feeling anxiety than when you're calm and you're peaceful, and people get to see that and practice it in real time.
How many employees will be?
Just me and the counselor that comes in, but they come in for the session and that's all.
You have to be living on South Beach.
Yes, the ADE is a holding company. We did a 1031 exchange when we sold our property in Roberta, and they held the funds while we did everything here. And November 14th is when, they only hold it for a maximum of 6 months. And November 14th is when our 6 months is up, and it'll be transferred back into my name, or into my name.
So you said you're gonna do new construction for the office, or you converting?
There's no new construction for this one. We have a farm already, so there's a farm that is being built, but it's for the farm. So if I get approval to do the business, it would be run from there, but we would have the barn regardless of this program.
So you're gonna convert the barn to office, the barn's gonna be an office then?
If I get approval, yes ma'am, it'll have the office and then a couple of run-ins for my horses and feed room and tack room.
Well, I thought I saw something there where your clients come in to an office, and that's the office.
I believe, maybe I can help with this. I believe she's saying that the barn is gonna be built regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless. And then, if it is approved, then they will use that as part of the office.
Right.
Any further questions? It's just horses,
Yes,
okay?
horses and 2 people.
Horses and 2 people, okay? Any further questions? All right, we'll open the public hearing. And is there anyone here that wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Please come forward, state your name and, tell us what you want us to know.
My name's Mark Hill. I live on Wildcat Bridge Road. I'm a veteran. My best friend is alive because of a program just like this. I highly recommend it. It's save a lot of lives. Just went for that program. He tried to kill himself twice. Didn't succeed. That program saved his life. To this day, he's got 2 kids home. So I'm very much for this program.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else speak in favor? State your name and.
Brenda Watkins, I live at 1318 at Hope Rogers Road. I'm a next door neighbor, and we're glad to have Paige plans for this property. They have done a good job with it, and as a teacher, I feel like that it will be a good help program for our community. This is zoning for a business, which we don't have businesses in our community, so we're making this something different, but the type of business it is, since it's agricultural, I feel good about. I know it doesn't help to say this, but I'm old enough to know that there used to be a business on the site where the barn is being built. It was a garage for Roland Linish at one time, but he didn't have to have a zoning anyway, we really didn't have to do that.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Anyone else in favor? Please come forward, state your name and.
Cara Johnson. I'm also a mental health clinician, and so I just would like to say that it is very exciting to hear that something like this could be coming to Madison County, especially when mental health resources are limited in our area. I know the benefits of especially equine therapy, but any kind of animal-related treatments can really help people make breakthroughs and reach kind of a different place in their mental health. So,
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else? All right, is there anyone here who wants to speak in opposition? Anyone wants to speak in opposition? Hearing none, thank you, ma'am. I'll bring it back to the board, and I will entertain a motion.
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
Why are we not putting it on the provision since it's already can be placed under a provisional, special provision in our zone?
It's an agribusiness, and in the AG zone, it's only approved as a conditional use.
Oh, I thought I saw on page 51 that agricultural business can be under P provision.
He is permitted, or you must be looking at the table.
Yes.
I'm not sure which line you're looking at, but, commercial riding stables is very similar to this category. All it was going under as a conditional use.
All right, any further questions? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve this conditional use.
Have a motion to approve.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and a second to approve this conditional use request. I believe it is on Bruce.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, ma'am. This has been approved through this P&Z commission. We will present it to the Board of Commissioners on November 3rd. You don't have to be there, but I recommend that you do.
Thank you.
Number 7.
Derek House is requesting to rezone a 4-acre portion of his 19.31 acres from A1 to AR to split for his parents and to rezone the remaining 15.31 acres from A1 to A2 to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 3906 Highway 98 East in Comer on map 82, parcel 6 in District 2.
All right, Mr. House? Is there anyone here to represent Mr. House? If not, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here who wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone who wants to speak in opposition? Now we'll close the public hearing. I'll bring it back to the board and for any comments, and I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve this request. I'll second.
We moved and properly second that, we approve this request. Any questions or comments? All right, Cynthia?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. All right, this has been approved, and we will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that approval. Number 8.
Ronnie Kelly, applicant for his parents Danny and Susan Kelly, is requesting to rezone an approximate 1-acre portion of their 10.48 acres from A2 to business to split and allow the operation of an auto repair shop and to rezone the remaining acreage from A2 to AR to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 3152 Lim Edwards Road in Colbert on map 46, parcel 116 in District 5.
All right, Mr. Kelly. Please come forward and tell us about the situation.
So I'm trying to, take 1 acre lot out of, my parents' property and, open up an auto mechanic shop. And, so their property surrounds, all of it around, I have railroad tracks and stuff on the side. And they're right on, Highway 72 and then outwards.
All right, so any questions for Mr. Kelly?
You're currently already operating the business, right?
Yes, sir.
And how long has that been going?
Just, I think just a couple months. Just, when I opened it up, they come up to me and it's like, hey, you gotta get this rezoned. So I come straight up to her and today the guy pulled up and we got this started.
This is a new garage?
Yes, sir.
When was it built?
I think it was the first of the year.
Okay. Well, I can tell you.
I started it like last October, I think, is when I actually started to get it done. It took that long for them to get everything.
So when you first built it and you were permitted to build this garage, it was meant
Personal.
It was meant to be
Personal
to begin with, and you transformed it
Yes.
into a business.
Yes. I was working for somebody and that didn't work out, and then I was like, might as well open up and open my own business myself.
I guess the other thing I wanted to ask was, I came out there on Sunday, and I know that in your letter of intent, it says that you'll be conducting business Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Yes, sir.
It really looked like business was going on Sunday, for starters, and there were 16 vehicles out there, outside, and you're also claiming that it says that no outside storage of any vehicles outside the ones that you'll be working on will be outside. So give us an idea as to what you're gonna have in and around the garage.
I was kind of behind, so I actually did have to work.
16 vehicles is way behind.
I know, that's what I'm telling you. But that's all the
That may
vehicles.
be a concern to your neighbors, is the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, most of the vehicles are to be worked on. Probably 2 or 3 of them's not personal vehicles.
Okay. But you do intend on operating it Monday through Friday?
Yes,
From
definitely.
8 to 5?
Yeah.
No Saturday or Sunday?
I hope not.
Were you aware of, when it was personal and you decided to turn it, you weren't aware at that time that you might have been in violation of any kind of rule?
Because, like a long time ago, I actually lived across the street, and, I had a little shop right there, and we didn't have to, it was just a shop there, and so I didn't have to have it. But then I built a big shop down the back, and we ended up rezoning it into commercial. But at the time, it's kind of like you had a business at the house or whatever. But then when I come talk to her, she's like, no, now it's auto mechanic. You have to have it zoned for business.
Okay.
So is this where, your clients will be able to wait for their car to be, taken care of, or is this just a drop-off?
Just a drop off.
Does it have restrooms and all that, or?
No, it's out there. They can drop it off. I live right there, so.
Yeah, I know, but a business, usually auto shop, somebody might be sitting there waiting for their car to get fixed, and so they have restrooms and stuff like that. But you're not gonna have any of that.
No.
Any further questions?
Tracy, is there any requirement at all on vehicles and condition of the surrounding property as far as numbers of vehicles, anything like that, or would that be a condition that we would need to?
There's not in the business along those terms.
So under business, you don't have to have a facility for, like, restrooms and stuff like that.
Well, I believe his work is the people just drop it off and he calls them when it's done. More or less. day or two long process and then just stop and get your oil changed,
Right.
is what was explained to me.
All right. Any further questions? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're on the public hearing. Is there anyone who wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Please come forward, state your name.
My name is Tom Castro. I own 6+ acres across the street from Mr. Kelly on Leonard Road that is already zoned commercial. And I'm in support of him having that shop there.
All right, sir.
What was your last name again, sir?
Casto.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Casto. Anybody else in favor? Is there anyone that will speak in opposition to this rezone request? Anyone will speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. I'll entertain a motion.
Chairman, I move that we, approve this as requested.
We have a motion by Mr. Gadden to approve as requested.
Second.
Second by Cynthia. Any further comments or questions? All right, Cynthia, is that you?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. All right, we will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that this be approved and final decision will be made on November 3rd. All right, number 9, Kimberly Reyes.
Yes, sir. Kimberly Reyes, applicant for her father, Marcos Reyes, is requesting to rezone a 3-acre portion of his 13.07 acres from A1 to business to split and to allow a commercial parking area business, and to rezone the remaining 10.07 acres from A1 to A2 to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 213 Duncan Swindle Road in Commerce on map 11, parcel 39-07 in District 1.
All right, Ms. Reyes. Ms. Reyes, please come forward. All right, anything to add?
No, good morning, nothing. I supposed to give it this business for my daughters and give it, this son is the business for family business.
All right, board have any questions?
Yes, what are you planning on parking?
Like truckings or boats, whatever,
Is it permanently or just overnight?
not overnight, maybe the day we leave it there, we try to do like, for the trucking, we going out like a couple of days and coming back to parking and the people go to a house. Like, maybe the trucking is still overnight, so. Most in the weekends, we parking in the weekends, more, you know, people working in the weeks and coming back home, parking the trucks in the weekends.
Is anyone gonna be allowed to stay on the property? Say a truck driver comes in and he parks it and he'll sleep there.
Yeah, no, nobody sleeps there. We try to like, we do electronic like, which are like mounting, like renting mounting, the parking, space parking, for the 18-wheeler trucks.
Okay.
So you said boats too?
I mean,
So it's like a storage, somebody can store their boat there for a while?
maybe for a little while, yeah, but no storage, it's like parking, just parking and that's it.
Okay. Okay, I'm not understanding. Okay, what else could they park their boats?
It's more like parking, like 18-wheeler trucks, more. More 18-wheelers.
Is there any limitation on the amount of time that they can park there, stay there?
No, nobody stay there, just the truck.
I mean, yeah, is there a time limit of how long and the vehicle can stay there. I mean, you know, can somebody come in and park it for a week, a day, hours?
I can say weeks.
Can I ask you, you say there's an office, well, on the diagram, it looks like there's an office there. So is someone going to be monitoring that office for people, they pay to park, somebody's monitoring that office?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, my
they,
daughters.
are,
Yeah, my daughter, she tried to,
they'll be there daily or?
not just daily, a couple hours, like daily only, but that's what we try to do, like maybe office and bathrooms over there, we stay there, then couple parkings for us.
Okay, what do you think the hours would be? If they're gonna stay there for cars, trucks to come in and back, park and get their truck?
Can say like 7 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock, like 8 hours.
So that's when the office will be open.
Mm-hmm.
I came out there and looked at the property last Friday, and I noticed there's a stop work order placard on the gate.
For the building.
What's that about?
Oh, because, the permit, we stop the permit, we don't keep doing, because if he, we do the business, we fix the farm for the office and we have the back, that's why we stop the construction. Maybe we change everything.
So you had a permit to perform work on the property for for a structure?
Yeah, for the building, yes, sir.
And what, the permit ran out, or what,
Yeah, right now the permit,
and what kind of structure was it?
that one we do for farm, but we try to put a power, that's why. We never put a power.
I have a question, I'm not sure that it's appropriate. I understand where that is on Duncan Swindle Road. That's quite a ways from I-85 and quite a ways from a lot of traffic. What type of activity do you perceive as somebody wanting to park there? I just, it's kind of hard for me to envision that there would be a lot of traffic. Is that,
Oh, we have a lot of friends, we drive in trucking, and we have a parking, that's why we try to parking, like, you know, people live in Atlanta, we don't have a parking over there, that's why we try to park in here. We work in the weeks, and just the weekend, maybe park in the trucks, and he go home. That's why nobody is living there.
Do you have a business like this elsewhere already?
No, that's why we started.
This is a A1, and you wanna put a business, so if putting the business into 3 acres, the 10 acres that's left over, what is your future plan for that?
Probably the house.
Personal house?
Mm-hmm.
So your business will, if it passes, the business will be in the front, and you'll be,
Yes, and the house and everything.
you'll be in the back.
The parking apron and parking spaces, will they be paved, or how will that work?
Yeah, I try to charge those people maybe a month, keep it paid.
But the parking space itself will be paved, concrete, gravel?
Oh, okay, I try to put it gravel or what you call miller. And when we got it through, we have to grade in everything and just put it gravel and then try to do, what you call, we try to make it grading in everything and try to make the driveway, but I put it gravel in everything.
I noticed there's quite a bit of up and down there. Is there much grading that's gonna have to be done in there?
Yes,
Removing any of those pine trees?
we don't have enough pine trees, we have a lot of work. We have to remove the trees. We have a lot, maybe 1 acre full of trees, and that's why we try to remove the trees.
Is this lot gonna be locked overnight, or obviously, or gonna stay open 24 hours? It's gonna be in a closed gate.
We think we make electrical gate, and, to get code, maybe we can open anytime when it comes home. We can say like 24 hours, we can use it the gate, we do electronic gate. Nobody there, just at the gate.
So what if somebody off the street comes in there and wants to park there and hasn't been there before, how do they get in to park?
We took that one with my daughters, she said she tried to do everything electronic, and we can give it the code, the gate code, and we can get it on or get out.
Okay, Ms. Patrick, as far as the is there any businesses in that area?
No, sir, there's not. This would be an isolated zone,
This is an isolated case.
and it's not consistent with the comp plan.
Right. That was my question. Is it consistent with the comp plan?
No, sir.
All right, anything else?
Did you just purchase this property? You had this property a long time, or did you
Yes,
just?
almost 13 years.
13 years. Okay, and you never wanted to build on it at that time?
No, just build in the barn.
Pardon?
Just build in the barn. I got one little barn and one little big one, just building down, so we don't build anything else.
So I know this is a for sale sign, so you want to sell this now?
We try to sell it, but if you got approval, we wouldn't put it on the market. Before we try to do it for sale, we try to make some business more on that, because we live in Atlanta. But if you got approved, just take the sign out.
Do you live here?
No, we live with that.
Living with that?
With that kind.
Okay. So this is open, then you're gonna build here,
Yes, sir. We try to come
on the remaining acres of property.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If we got approved, we started a process, we did the waiting, and maybe we try to build in a house or something in the backyard to really close the business and everything.
All right, any further questions?
No maintenance, no changing oil, any of that?
No mechanic. We put in the description, no mechanic. Yes, parking, but no mechanic.
All right, thanks, sir. All right, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Please come forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Michael McGahee. I'm Marcus' friend for many years now. And his property is, it is isolated. But in the adjacent county on 98, there is a large junkyard on 98. This property is less than a mile off of 98. So it is close to 85. As you know, that development off of 441 is very populated now. One of the aspects of developing, Marcos is free to let me speak, it could be further developed into not as permanent a parking. We were actually considering like a bulldog parking for Georgia Bulldogs for RVs on the weekend, for just that weekend. And it's only 20 miles from Madison. So I think it's a very good business proposition. So these 3 acres would be, as he's already purchased a cat bulldozer, and we have a hay seller that has a similar bulldozer that will assist us in the operation. So all of those trees, primarily hardwoods, would be cleared. The ground's leveled on that 3 acres, and it would have CCTV, closed circuit, all of the modern security measures, electronic gate entries, and it could actually be probably managed just through technology. So I think it's a good business proposition. I know that we think the area is not populated, but you probably wouldn't notice if there was a tree line there. If that was a problem that you might take up on November 3rd. But the land would be leveled to the creek, and it would just be storage, because truckers, they need places to park, and the parking closer to Atlanta is very expensive, because land, Gwinnett County, that area, they eat you up for just to park a semi-tractor, the truck. So if I can, speak for Marcos, are there any questions maybe that I've addressed as far as how?
Well, once there's a rebuttal, if he wants you to speak for him, that would be proper. But at this point, I'm just entertaining anyone to speak for this rezone request, and then we will hear opposition, and if there's some opposition, and he wants you to speak for him, then we will allow that.
Excellent, thank you.
All right. Anyone else wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone who speak in opposition? Anyone will speak in opposition? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. And I will, at this point, as you've noticed, I haven't voted, and I'm not allowed to vote. But as the chair, I want to remind the board that this is a request that is not consistent with the comp plan. So as you make your deliberation, make sure you think of that before a motion is made. And at this point, I'll bring it back to the board, and I'll entertain a motion to approve, to disapprove, or to approve with conditions.
Mr. Chairman, this is not consistent with the comp plan. As a matter of fact, there's R1 properties behind this, adjacent to this, and behind this property. There's not a business zone in sight anywhere, and it being in the rural conservation area, I would make a motion to deny this request.
Okay, I have a motion from Lee to deny this request. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Kenneth, any questions or comments from any of the board members? If not, Kenneth?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's been determined by this board that we will recommend to the Board of Commissioners to deny this particular request. The final decision will be made on November 3rd. I do recommend that you gentlemen do show up on November 3rd. There will be a second public hearing, and you will be able to present to them what you presented to us. Sure, absolutely. All right, we're going to take just a second here to
5-minute recess.
Recess.
grants for which.
I better have.
Oh, yeah. There is a condition used for agribusiness. That's what that is. There's no It was chilly in August.
All right, we will, call the meeting back to order and, number 11. Number 10, I'm sorry, number 10.
Haywood Falk, applicant for Stone House, is requesting a variance to allow 6 corners of a proposed stack house to be built closer to the property lines than what is required, with a 90-foot deficit on one corner and an 8-foot deficit on the other. The property is located at 0 Sanford Nicholson Road on map 16, parcel 155 in District 1.
All right, Mr. Fox?
How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Oh, doing pretty good. He's, Child's bought this 5-house poultry farm, and then we can see where the gray area is, where we're looking at putting a stack house for him. Right on the side of it, there's what's considered a barn. That's the litter shed right now, which is only about a 40 by 50 building, and it's not enough to be able to handle the litter for the houses. And the elevation of it, when it was originally built, for some reason, whenever it's raining, you can't get a truck to go up to the building. So the only time he can use it right now is whenever it's dry weather conditions. Right behind the chicken houses, there's a running creek, an active creek. Well, what's having to be done now, if it's raining, whenever the birds are gone, they're hauling the litter out, dumping it up in the parking lot, and it's running down into the creek. So I got NRCS involved with it, and on 98, they come in and gave him the permission, and they're gonna do the funding to put a stack house that'll have the capacity to handle the 5 houses. The only location remotely that it would fit is between the existing building and the chicken house. So the only spot that we're within a variance issue is the very front of it. We won't be able to put it squared off with the front of the chicken houses, because they'll be backing up there with an 18-wheeler, so those litter up to haul it off. The back of it, we got 308 foot off of the back of the house to the property line, so we're cleared on that one. The only issue is the very 2 corners in the front. That's where we have to, 90-something feet, I believe it is.
That's correct.
But like I said, we're just trying to sit it in between the existing buildings now. So, all we're trying to do is protect any litter being left outside and rain going and then running into the creeks and from there.
All right. Any questions from the board? I do have one.
Yes.
Before we, Why can't it be built smaller?
Won't have the capacity to handle the litter. The smaller, then you'll still be at the same issue, it won't be able to hold enough litter whenever a full flock of birds is going. That's the reason NRCS got involved, and they did so many flocks, he's gonna grow 5 flocks a year, and they estimated how many tons of litter is gonna be coming out of the houses at one time. And that's where they sized the house to the present size, otherwise we'd still be having to dump litter outside, have a new building built, and then still dump excess outside in the parking lot. So with that size right there, then that'll give a capacity to handle all of this litter at one time. And then whenever the weather dries, then they can go in there and take them out. And like right now, with the LT break and some of the different disease stuff, you're not able to leave the farm if you're on quarantine time. So then all the litter can be dumped into there and left until the quarantine time is opened up for them to haul it on.
Okay. Any further questions? Say something.
Okay, you want to build a second tank house,
Yes, ma'am.
but there's no way you can expand the new one?
If we did the new one, that would be ideal, but then we'd be getting real close to the property line then. So
Right.
trying to put it in between the existing building and the chicken house, that way he's not gonna be closer to the property line and really it'd be tough to be able to get the road into the old stack house that's there now. So like I say, there's a very big incline going up to the drive to it, and if it's raining, you just not get up there. There's no way 18-wheeler will back up it, or you might get a spreader truck to it, but that'd be about it. So that's why they're dumping it all out in the parking lot in the front now.
And there's no way to move the building down that way towards the full, you see where the 414 line is?
That turns into, that's the starting, the driveway, the part of the creek right there. It's a pretty good ravine in those woods. And then probably about, almost at the edge of, he owns some more property adjoining that as well. And that's where the actual running water is. But the closer you move it towards the 414, you'll be getting closer into the creek then. And then it pretty much be giving you more issues.
Because I really couldn't get down there to see it. You do have a sign up there that says.
Yeah, right now, they're, biosecurity, they're pretty tough on everybody trying to get into the houses, because they're just one entrance into the farm. Like I say, you can go in there if you needed to, you just have to notify him and come in with his vehicle. That way we don't take chance of bringing in disease or anything to his farms. That's the reason, all poultry farms have that. That's just a common biosecurity practice right now.
That's why I can't see, where is the creek you're talking about?
The creek is actually, this is coming right through here. The driveway, the part of it starts right in here where the big ravine is, but there's actual running water coming right in this area here.
Okay, because that's why I was thinking you could expand it more towards that 413.
Well, but like I say, then you're getting it closer into more issues or problems down the road. Trying to keep it as far away from any watershed area as possible. Plus, you already have a complete gravel loadout area, and then it's squaring it off with all the existing buildings.
Well, I don't know, I couldn't see it.
Well, that's a to-scale picture of it right there.
Okay.
That's why we're just trying to make all the front of the chicken houses squared off.
Oh.
Because if we moved it further back, then you're gonna have to try to get an 18-wheeler back in between those two buildings to get into a kind of a tougher area then.
How long have these houses been there?
I think right at 25 years, 23, 25.
Built in the 90s. Late 90s, I think it was.
Yes.
I was gonna ask you, did NRCS take all of this into consideration and recommend this solution?
Yes, sir. Well, I ended up getting them involved in it because, like I say, all that litter was being dumped. So they've already done emergency funding, and they have the funds there for the stack house, and they sized it accordingly.
Okay.
So they're just waiting on this, and like I said, we got everything approved on their side.
Thanks, sir.
Yes.
So their funding, in order to get that funding, it has to be this particular size.
It's got to go to their square footage.
So you can't use the existing, what you've got already, with a building another one on a smaller size.
No, their square footage is calculated using the 40 by 50 that's there now. plus this one will give the square footage to handle all of the litter for all 5 houses at one time. Okay, this is very, very short compared to the normal stack houses we build. So like I say, right now, they're gonna utilize both of them together. Is what their plans are. That's how they had it calculated out on their square footage and the tonnage of litter.
All right, any further questions?
Just double check, there's no dwellings within 400 feet.
No, sir. And on that front side where the 201 is, that's about a 15-foot bluff. Whenever they graded it, they cut that property line straight down. That's where all the dirt was cut. So there's a big steep bank right there in the front. That's the closest location to it.
All right, anything else?
So, sir.
Thanks, sir. All right, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Or in favor of this variance, not rezone request, but variance. Hello, stack house. Is anyone here in favor? Hearing none, is there anyone here in opposition? Please come forward and state your name and tell us what you want to know.
Name's Jeff Talbot, on land where he's talking about Steve Bluff, on the left side of it. Right on the top corner of that, I'm eventually planning on building my daughter's house right here. Years ago, I had to sign off on them to build these other 3 houses because they were within the 200 foot that it used to be. Kenny probably remembers that. That where the existing stack house is at now, it's a steep drop off to the creek. People in this country don't know how to be neighborly. People should have come to me and talked to me. Not changing the subject, but these septic tanks, chicken pits within the creek, within the property line. When they built that thing, me and my daddy told them that they was gonna have to level that out, and that's what was agreed on, and they never done it. So I oppose it. I don't think it's right, and I'm not gonna be saying that I'm gonna give them the 90 foot like I've done before, because the county increased it from 200 feet to 300 feet. And then there's a 400 foot variance on a house, am I correct? So if I agree to this, then I gotta move my house another 100 foot on my own property to get within that 400 foot of the stack house. That's not right in my opinion for my property that I paid for and worked on.
You're talking about for the house to be built. You would have to move the house that you've got.
To get it within the 400 foot?
To get it within the 400, but you can still build it.
Yes, but I gotta move it from on top of the hill down in front of it, which is, thank you.
All right. Thanks, sir. Anyone else want to speak in opposition? Anyone else want to speak in opposition? Sir, do you have any rebuttal?
Yes. The thing talking about the pits and all that have been on the farm, this is a new owner that just purchased it. So none of that is anything that he has done. He is just going in trying to solve some of the issues. This is a actual set of plans from the NRCS that y'all can all look at if you'd like. And there's going to be actually a composting. There will not be the chicken pits after this stack house is built. The compost bins, he's going to manually compost in the litter, so they won't be using the chicken pits in the ground no longer. This will be doing away with those, and it'll be litter storage and composting both in the building.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Yes.
All right. I will close the public hearing. and I'll bring it back to the board for discussion, and I will entertain a motion to approve, to disapprove, or to approve with conditions. And, Kenneth has accused himself on this particular one. Any comments, questions, concerns?
I understand the distance here, and, I mean, we try to stay within the 300 feet of property lines, as best we can. That litter out of those houses has to go somewhere. I know these houses have been there since the 90s. But that litter has to go somewhere. To me, it's best that it go in a controlled stack house instead of outside, you know, with runoff going to streams and things like that. I would recommend that we approve this request.
Is that a recommendation or is that a motion? A motion that this is approved. Do I get a second?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I second.
We have a motion and a second, that this, variance to build a stack house, be approved with a 90-foot deficit on one corner and an 8-foot deficit on the other. Is there any questions or comments before we carry the motion?
Is there, let me understand that. So it cannot be taken somewhere else? It has to be dumped there?
Is that for a question for Lee?
No.
You have to ask this gentleman, he's in the business.
When the litter, when it's pulled out of the house, has to be brought somewhere on that location for it to be hauled off. But if we're in a quarantine zone, which pretty much Georgia gets a quarantine almost every year, that litter is not allowed to leave that property, period, until the quarantine is relieved. So at that time, it's either gonna be stacked outside on the ground in the elements, or it'd be stacked inside this building out of the weather and conditions.
I just want to understand. It could
Yes,
be
ma'am.
moved somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, have a motion and a second. Any more questions or comments? All right. Lee?
Yes.
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 All right, it has been motion and second and approved that we will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that this variance be allowed. There will be a second public hearing on November 3rd. The commissioners will have the final say. So anyone opposed, anyone in opposition need to come and to present that side of the story. But as of right now, this board will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that the variance be approved. All right, with that, we'll move on to the next one.
Eugene Knight, applicant for Gail Hanson, is requesting to rezone a 5-acre portion of her 23.57 acres from A1 to AR to split and gift a grandchild for a home site, and to rezone the remaining 18.57 acres from A1 to A2 to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 0 Della Clayton Road in Comer on map 102, parcel 36 in District 4.
All right, yes, sir.
Yes, Eugene Knight. I live at 2904 Della Lake Road. Me and my wife actually live on the property that was purchased by my mother-in-law and my father-in-law back late 70s, I guess. Purchased 60-some acres. With the intent of my father-in-law's intent was to have a place for his grandkids to live and reside on the family land. So that's why we're here. The acreage that we're talking about here, to get out her 5 acres and still preserve the rest of the acreage in accordance with the zoning requirements.
All right. Any questions? Thanks, sir.
Yes.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. Does anyone want to speak in for this rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone want to speak in opposition? Open the public hearing, bring it back before the board. And for any discussion or I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion to approve this.
Have a motion by Mr. Gandy to approve as presented.
I'll second.
A second by Kevin. Any questions or comments? All right, Mr. Gandy.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, we will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that this be approved. The next public hearing will be November the 3rd. Before the county commissioners, they will make the final decision.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, next.
Wentford Carey is requesting to rezone a 2-acre portion of his 23.86 acres from A2 to R1 to split for his funds. The remaining 21.86 acres will stay in the A2 zone. The property is located at 115 Cary Road in Danielsville on map 50, parcel 73 in District 4.
All right, Ms. Carey.
Yes, sir. We'd like to, make it a 2-acre tract of land our son with a house that we built. We had, come to the board before, he got it rezoned. And he's got some disabilities. And we'd like to keep it where he can afford it when we go on. On kind of taxes and what have you. So, we'd like to do this with 2 acres rather than 4. Our intentions were, when we did it before, was to do 2 acres, but it got changed to 4. And we really don't want to do 4. If we could get the 2 acres, it would suit him down the road as far as the cost of taxes, stuff like that he would have really a hardship, I think, taking it and moving on with it. So that's what we would like to do.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Carey?
Sir, are you familiar with the county comprehensive plan? The county comprehensive plan that we put together a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
It kind of sets aside areas to preserve agriculture.
Yeah.
And one of the stipulations that is don't make little spot zonings in the middle of an agriculture, a little residential thing. It's called spot zoning. And our hands are kind of tied when we come up to this because we have very clear guidance in the comprehensive plan on how to, and it's an ordinance now that has to be 4 acres. You understand that?
Yes, I do. But, with our case, with the son having some issues, like I said, the cost of taxes down the road, stuff like that. And I personally think the 2 acres is plenty. And according to my understanding, it can be less if there's a disability or what have you, and the person that living in the house, that we're leaving the property to him.
There's going to be, he's gonna be on a very minimal income. And I don't know what the taxes will be on a 4-acre versus a 2-acre, and he's limited to the income that he's gonna have. That's why we didn't want. We'd like to give him 10 acres, but if he can't pay for that, guess who's gonna get that property? You guys, because he's not gonna be able to pay it after 2 years. So that's why we were just wanting a small portion, so that he could have a place to live, and that's what we're giving him, and there's no other funds to, there's not gonna be a trust fund to continue taxes.
Plan was to do the 2 acres in the beginning, but we got involved getting the house done for him, and we just didn't get it done before that
4-acre thing came into play.
You did it before as an accessory dwelling. Was the house built as an accessory dwelling property? Is that how the house was originally built?
Yeah, it was built, we never had a line run. It was built on the property, on the 23 acres, whatever the tract.
As an accessory dwelling unit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, any further questions for? Further questions? If not, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I will open the public hearing. And if anyone wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Please come forward and let's know your name, sir.
My name's Kevin Chandler. I live off Cary Ford, which is not far from Cary Road. I've met him through the thing, and he's basically doing the same thing I want to do, trying to help the younger generation start. Give them some land. It's hard to pay taxes on stuff, on 4 acres. I want to give my son 2, but I was told I had to do 4. So I'd love to change mine to 2, but I can't. So 2 acres is plenty to build a house on. Trying to help in this economy, in this generation, trying to help somebody out. I agree with it.
All right. Anyone else in favor? Anyone in opposition? Anyone want to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll close it, the public hearing, and bring it back before the board for a decision, and I'll entertain a motion. But I will say, as I said before, and I'll ask Mr. Patrick, does this meet the comprehensive plan?
It's inconsistent with the comp plan.
It's inconsistent with the comprehensive plan.
Ms. Patrick, do we have any, any indication that there was ever a 2-acre part of this, or they just, originally they came in for an ADU on their land?
Yes, sir. At one time, they were considering cutting out a 2-acre portion when they were gonna build the house. But, as they said, it got wrapped up with the construction of the home, and the acreage had gone up at that time, so they opted in 23 to do an ADU. And, but yes, so it was thought about, but circumstances led him away from that before the acreage changed.
So they just want to give the property, they don't want to keep the ADU, allow him to take it. They want to let him
For when they, pass on, they just want him back.
All right, any other comments or questions?
I think we have to be consistent here. There's not another R1 anywhere having a high density R1 in that area. It's not appropriate, although I understand what's trying to be done here. So.
Any further comments?
And well, I want to know, before it was 2 acres, we are zoned. And then by the time they got this done, it was 4.
Correct. Correct. Now, this is a comment. I was not in favor of going from 2 to 4, but it went from 2 to 4. That is the rule of, and it puts us in a pretty bad position. But we, I would say as chair, we must follow the rules. And the rules say that, or the comprehensive plan says that this is inconsistent and it doesn't belong in that area. But it's up to the board to vote, to make a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners, and you can do as you would like. So I think that, I'll entertain a motion at this time. Or did you make it?
I can.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we deny this request.
Motion to deny.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any further comment?
Well, I do have a comment. Cause I was also not in favor with going from 2 acres to 4 acres. And hopefully come down, they realize that we need to go back to that AR 2 acres because it's hardship on families, so that is my comment.
That's not to say that our new Unified Development Code, which is in draft form, might change some of that, but that's not today.
Not today.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, but hopefully they do because it is a hardship on families.
All right, any further comments? I have a motion and a second to deny. Kevin?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, sir, this has been denied. We will recommend the Board of Commissioners that we be denied, because of what I've stated. And there will be a second public hearing on November 3rd before the Board of Commissioners. And I suggest that you come and, present your side to them, and the final decision will be theirs. With that being said, move on to the next one.
Okay. Josh Smith, applicant for Scott Foster, is requesting a conditional use to allow the development of an RV park and campground on the property. The property is located at 0 Wildcat Bridge Road in Royston on map 78, parcel 47-01 in District 4.
All right, Mr. Smith, Mr. Foster, please come forward and tell us what you want us to know.
Good evening, Board. My name is Josh Smith, the applicant for, I'm not sure if you can hear me, I want everybody to be able to hear me. Okay. Sorry I wasn't able to attend the last meeting. I was in traffic, traveling south. So we are applying for, like Ms. Tracy said, for an RV park to be developed on Wildcat Bridge Road near the bridge. This is Aaron is our surveyor. He's the one who drew the plans. Aaron will be able to answer any technical questions you may have. But I just wanted to introduce myself, and so you guys have a face with a name. And also, if you have any questions for me, I'll certainly be available as well. And if it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it over to Aaron here.
Any comments you'd like to make, Aaron?
Thank you. Would anybody like a larger copy to have in front of them?
We should be able to see it on the,
Okay.
that's the same thing, isn't it?
It's the same thing, yeah,
Okay.
but it's Blumberg.
I'm sorry.
Blumberg, Aaron Blumberg, yep.
No, it's SPG.
Yep.
I think the audience can see it on the other screen. Okay.
Okay. My name is Aaron Blumberg with SPG Land Survey. I've been working in this community for 27 years, believe it or not. It doesn't feel like that, but it's what it's been. Just want to kind of take the opportunity to speak tonight in support of this. Of course, I drew it. SPG, we worked on, several RV parks, and I, worked in Lake Hartwell and a couple more in Hart County. And so I've had good success with those, and I've even had, especially doing our best. I do my best, not saying the graders do, but I do my best to try to keep as many trees as possible. We believe in that. And so this project has been carefully designed to align with Madison County's comprehensive plan and not to conflict with it. The plan's vision calls for preserving the county's natural charm while expanding quality of life and economic opportunity. And that's exactly what this campground does. The conservation character area descriptive recognizes that while new development should be limited, these areas can be promoted as passive recreation-themed tourism destination, and our park fits that definition perfectly. It provides low-impact, nature-based recreation and lodging, no large buildings, no heavy traffic, no industrial use. I know that's been a problem recently. Just clean, quiet sites for families, retirees, and outdoor travelers who want to enjoy Madison County's natural beauty, which the Broad River is definitely a natural beauty, and do this in all seasons. This proposal also advances one of the county's top economic development goals, which is encouraging tourism-related destinations and lodging opportunities. Visitors staying here will support local businesses, shops, and restaurants, keeping more dollars in the community. Environmentally, and we know how important that is, we're committed to doing this the right way, preserving tree canopy and buffers where practical, managing wastewater responsibly, and keeping a large percentage of property as open space. Our goal is to complement the landscape, not to compete with it. In short, this RV park is a responsible, planned, consistent way to connect people with nature while strengthening Madison County's rural economics. And I ask for you support with this, and I'm happy to answer any questions that y'all may have.
All right, sir. We appreciate it. Any questions from the board?
Yeah.
Andy?
So you mentioned this short-term RV rental and long-term RV rental?
Yes, so, yes, sir, so I can address that. So initially, we were informed on, I believe it was 9/4 the day I paid, the fee, correct, Ms. Tracy. So initially I was informed, so I asked, Ms. Tracy, and I also, the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, Todd Higdon, also stepped in the room because we had a couple of questions as well, just for clarification. And we were under the impression at the time that RVs could stay year-round, that we could have a camp host, because that was one of the concerns is we want this to be a true family-oriented campground. I said, I explained to Ms. Tracy, I said, we need somebody there to kind of help manage it, and make sure that nothing crazy is going on there, because we don't want that. And so, I was informed then that, we could, that the lots could also be potentially sold in the future, kind of like our Bulldog RV Park does in Athens. That was never our intention, and I'm glad council's here, because from my understanding, Commissioner Chandler has reached out to you, I believe, concerning the rules and the ordinances. That was just mentioned to us, and so that's why we put it in the letter of intent, because if it was something to come to fruition years down the road, we wouldn't have to come back before the board. However, I want to be very clear to the public and to this board, that was not our intentions from the beginning. Our intentions is for it to be a family-oriented, short-term stay RV park. I live next to the Broad River, very close. Actually, one of the members in the audience has been to my neighbor's property. We're there on a regular basis. My kids play in it on a regular basis. Preserving that integrity is very important to me. I would like to make note also that since Mr. Chandler reached back out to me, Commissioner Chandler reached back out to me after speaking with council, from my understanding, we decided that that verbiage doesn't matter to us. That was just a bonus in there that we put in there just in case something ever happened in the future, but that's not the intention. So,
well, let me ask you a question when you.
Yes, sir.
So, if this board decided, okay, you would be okay with the condition that be taken out?
Absolutely, I'll take it out right now. Yes, sir. So that is not, like, our intention is to build a short-term RV park with, as you can see, bathhouse, the tent spots would even have, such as like platforms, just like you would see at a state park. Bathhouse, laundry in there. I've owned rental properties before, personally, and I know the concern, and if I was a neighbor, I would be concerned as well for long-term rentals. I can assure you, I have no intention of being in the rental business anymore. I don't have the heart for it, long-term. I just don't have the heart to tell somebody they gotta leave. So that is not the intention for us. I will let you know. It is, again, and I know I'm restating it, but we really just want to build a family-oriented, short-term stay. And council, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's up to 15 days is what I've understood.
The occupant of any RV site shall not remain in the same in the park for more than 15 days in any 60-day period.
Yes, sir. So we're completely fine with that. As Aaron has said, you know, it meets the comprehensive plan as far as the recreational theme goes for the Broad River. It's a perfect location for us. You know, I know there's immediate neighbors. We are going to do our absolute best. I am more than willing to sit down with the immediate neighbors if they're worried about barriers and seeing it. We already have, you know, some ideas that we've tossed around in order to assist with that as well. And whatever the neighbors have, if they have a particular barrier they would like up, we are more than willing to entertain it. It'll have its own commercial sewer system. Nothing will go into the river. There's no environmental impact other than the fact that kids are going to be playing in a river that God gave us to begin with.
All right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. You know, there's pretty limited access points on the river.
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with like Briar's Landing?
Briar's Landing? No, sir.
It's run by the Recreation Department.
Okay.
And essentially it's got a lot of stipulations of what you can and cannot do there.
From the EPD?
Well, no, just from the Recreation Department.
Okay. Yes, sir.
A big part of it is trying to cut down on the problem with trash and litter in the river.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you have a commercial business that has kayaks and that sort of thing, you have to have someone there on the supervising that all the time to make sure that prohibited items aren't taken into the river.
Yes, sir.
I mean, is this going to be kind of will you be able to rent?
No, sir. So actually, the Broad River Outpost, the kayaking service, I've never personally used them. I live right up the road from the one in Franklin County, so that's where we go. But this would be nothing, in my opinion, nothing but a benefit to his business, which is already themed for the river. You know, so we're not getting in the kayaking business. We're not getting in the tubing business. We're not going to have. Hopefully, this will just benefit the owner of that business already. We have no intentions on now as of
Any envision of any, docks or anything down in the buffer area around the river?
The docks,
any construction or anything?
So, no, as far as permanent, you talking about permanent docks, anything on the buffer? No, sir, we will abide by all the county rules, state laws, and EPD regulations as far as the buffer on the river. And I have been in contact with the EPD as well and told one of the local EPD planners that works with the water shed area, and I said, hey, if this goes through, I need your help because we want to do this the right way. Last thing I want to do is stand in front of the EPD and have them answer any questions. And I know Aaron doesn't either.
That's right.
So.
Any further questions?
I wanted to know, now how would the person comes and brings their RV?
Yes, ma'am.
There is going to be a rental space that they rent out?
The office right here, so they come in and they'll be able to pull in off the main road out of the way, and that way it leaves the main road, free and clear for emergency, everybody else. And so they'll be able to pull in into the maintenance office building to be able to check in, and then they would be able to come around and back into their spot.
Okay, so they'll be rented out?
Yes, if it's RV, there's also going to be tent platforms and over here as well. These are these tent platforms that would be able to, that way you're not having to dig down, you're able to be able to, try to use the topography as best. The worst thing you want to do is fight topography. And you, Mr. Paul, can I can tell you that. And so we're trying to work with topography, and so we left this open up here, one for, to use for the wastewater that would be used, and then also that from the, from the road, you wouldn't, besides the entrance, you wouldn't even be able to see it.
No,
That was kind of our intent.
Okay, I understand. I mean, they bring their RV and they bring their tent.
Yes.
Okay, so you're just gonna have a platform for them to have a tent, put their tent.
Yeah, so they don't have to sleep on the ground,
Yeah,
just like at
okay, yeah.
it's just like at a state park. So you go,
Victoria Bryant has some that were similar to the platforms that you have stayed on.
Okay, and they just rent that area.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so it'll be they can stay up to 15 days.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
will
right.
it be under like a membership or?
No, ma'am, it rented nightly, just like you would at a state park. You know, as of now, we have not, the idea of memberships has not been discussed. We are looking at nightly rentals, just like you would in a state park.
Yeah, or KOA.
Yeah, or KOA.
Further questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Could I respectfully request another short break?
Sure. You need to.
So everything's gonna be on
Yes,
septic.
It will have its own septic, its own water. This financially, this will cost Madison County taxpayers $0.
Before we get into that, I want all the board to be here to hear.
No, like, okay.
Cynthia, you ask your question again, please.
Oh, I was just saying, you said, the septic, how is that gonna be set up, how will it be put away?
I'll defer that to Aaron, he designs that stuff.
Yeah, so, it would be, a system that would be approved, of course, by EPD, and then the water would be a separate system as well, since, county water is not available. And so it'll all be done, and the goal is put it as far away from the river as possible. So, and it would be in compliance, and have to get, state approval, and then while it's being installed, it has to be approved. It'd be, lots of checks and balances on that.
So there would be a dump station, you're not having septic at sites, it would be a dump station?
So this would be septic at site, not a dump station.
Yeah, septic at site. That's one thing we had talked about, so we didn't want, the possibilities of dump stations.
Mm-hmm.
That's, my mother-in-law's a big camper. I hate fooling with that thing.
Yeah.
And to me, it just allows for a spill.
Yeah.
And
So typically you take about five sites and, then that would be separately, and it would collect and then top up to a bigger collection where it would be treated and put in the ground, just like, all the other, typically like all the other septic
Okay,
systems.
so each site will not have its own septic?
No, it will be pumped, yes.
Pump station.
Okay.
Well, it won't necessarily be one big pump station, it'd be like lots of little small ones that would pump up. There's lots of different types of systems, that handle stuff like that, so.
But it'll be its own self-contained system that, where each lot has full hookup, and it pumps to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want you to imagine septic fields, behind here.
Correct.
Be collected behind the site and then pump up. There's different systems, like there's got grinder ones, there's a system, a fantastic system called E1 that does that, and it gets it up to the, it kind of puts them all together to form its own, you know, basically pump station, gets it up to the top of the hill where it can be managed away from the river.
How about water? How are you gonna do, how you gonna well?
Yeah, it has to be a well system that would be EPD approved to do that. So it wouldn't just be one well. Well, it'd be one at least, and then there would be a site reserved for another well. But the water system would have to be engineered and approved and water tested. And with the EPD water systems, they have to be tested, I think, quarterly at least, or at least twice a year, then samples sent off, and I'm sure there's several in the county like that.
No, it's a commercial well.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Would it be gated where you'd have to have, code to get in and out of it, or?
So the idea, I think, initially is, you know, we would have the maintenance office building there, and that would be kind of the check-in point, you know, for someone to be there. As far as the gated thing, you know, people come and go. I mean, if that's something that you guys wanted, you know, we could definitely consider that. But as of right now, we're not planning on it being a private park, so it wouldn't be necessarily gated. And, you know, so not a membership, when I mean private, not a membership type thing that would require code.
So, what the reason I was asking, I know you probably have, it's gonna be run for certain hours, and if somebody come in there, say after dark, set up.
Yes,
How would y'all control?
and that's something we would have to do through the website, you know, once we build it. So we have planned on having a website to where you can pay online when you go to book in advance. Mm-hmm. A lot of campgrounds around here are booked now, especially this time of year with the Halloween, the trick-or-treating for the kids. And, you know, we plan on making it as easy as possible. You know, as far as after hours go, I mean, that's something that we could definitely accommodate the customer with via the online or phone.
How far is this from the closest landowner? Just other landowners, how close is this? Any adjacent landowner?
Oh,
property owner?
so they're next door.
Yeah, there's some people right next to it.
And so you can see there's and so as you can see, the property to the right there, that's what I was referring, and to the left. So this track and that track, that's what I was talking about with the vegetative barriers. Yeah. You know, to make sure that we're doing everything we can, and we're most definitely willing to sit down with those property owners and see what works for them, what don't work, you know, what they would be willing to accept. We want to be a neighbor, a good neighbor. We don't, you know, again, this is designed to be a family-oriented deal. You know, when, it's something that one day, you know, maybe I can leave my kids. You know, it's something that I definitely see, you know, my kids being a huge part of.
Can I ask, okay, I went down there. That side where the sale sign is that gonna be the entranceway?
So right now, currently, there's an easement that goes down the side of the property. And so we're not gonna mess with that. We're gonna build, DOT will have to give final approval on that, and Aaron can speak to that as well, but we're gonna build a new entrance, very nice entrance coming in, just to, I guess, if you're staring at it, it'll be to the left of that sign a little bit. Yeah. That way there's plenty of visibility, both, you know, I guess it would be north and south, that's right, for turn radiuses. So that easement part would literally just remain the way it is. We would definitely have to put in, and the plan is to put in a nice new entrance.
Yes, GDOT certified. There's a lot of terrain, but how about security, lighting? How would that?
Yeah, so in the plan, and so I spoke to Ms. Tracy about that, Madison County requires, X amount, if you correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember the footage, but
it's in the light plan, where I think it's about like every 150 feet or something
I think
like that.
yeah, I think that's what
I don't have that in front of me
head.
today, but.
So you do plan to comply with whatever the road related?
Whatever you tell us we gotta do, that's what we gonna do.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I'm asking Tracy, I guess, but maybe you too. So, there are a couple of things that have to be submitted with the site plan. 9114 says surface drainage plans for the entire tract must be submitted with the application. But I noticed this site plan just says that it'll be submitted later. How did that come about?
It's not time to submit the actual site plan. We were saying if this conditional use was approved, and then the site plan would be submitted and go through that check.
Where is that in the ordinance? I don't understand that. Once the site plan is submitted with the conditional use permit applications, another one is 9.1114, 1116. In addition to the above requirements, the RV park site plan shall be accompanied by a certificate of approval from the health department. Again, it just says that'll come later.
Well,
This is not like it's a rezone and there'll be a plat submitted later for approval.
I apologize if I did that wrong, but I just assumed we needed permission to do this and then submit the site plan.
How are you going to require them to do that later?
Sure. Okay. So typically what we do in other, municipalities like this, the plan that you're talking about is a very expensive plan. And then also, once you bring it to this meeting, there may be conditions that come out of it that are going to change that plan completely. And so typically we will come ask for permission for for the condition, for the zoning. And once that is, there'll be another plan presented that meets.
Well, you can do an RV park in an A1, so you got the zone, but you need the conditional use permit. Have you read section 911 of the zoning ordinance?
I've been through it. I wouldn't be able to put it specifically.
Okay.
Well, let me say this. I understand that there's typical things that you do elsewhere. But if what he is saying is correct, and I'm sure he is.
Read it.
I'm sure.
I'm
sure he is. That we must follow our rules, not somebody else's.
And kind of the condition that we're here, because to do that work is going to cost tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands for a.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't speak to that.
I understand.
The only thing I can speak to is if that is part of the conditions that this county goes by, then they have to be met. And I'm not throwing rocks at Ms. Tracy because she did this, because she did what she was thought was proper. But if what our attorney has just presented, then you must follow those guidelines in order for it to be heard.
Council, can this board make a variance on that?
No. Have you read the section of variances?
So, that's what I was asking. So if this board was.
I'm not your lawyer. I'm their lawyer.
Right.
Okay. We'll continue. Is there any other questions from the board? And the reason I'm continuing is because there is a second public hearing. This has to come before the Board of Commissioners, and I'm sure that all of this will be brought out. So we will continue tonight and go through the process, and this board will make a recommendation. And that recommendation could be to continue this until all the requirements are met.
And Mr. Chairman, if I can propose one other option, would be the applicant could ask to postpone this before the public hearing begins, which would then keep that 30-day clock for this board to make its recommendation. That clock would start running if we don't hold the public hearing. If they wish to ask for a postponement at this point before it goes further, so these things can be addressed.
That's another option. But that would be up to the applicant.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
so we would have to consult with the landowner as well, because there is a real estate contract in place, and so, with a deadline. So, that's something that I would have to, I guess I would have to get back with Ms. Tracy about. I couldn't answer that tonight.
We're either gonna go forward with a public hearing, or you're gonna ask us to postpone it, in which case they'll probably allow that, but.
If you could give me a couple of minutes, I would have to, defer that to farmers.
If they postpone it, that would also give them the ability to, like you offered, to meet with the community to address all of their questions.
Yes, absolutely, I'm willing to do that, that's something else Aaron just explained, this is going to, we would be gambling tens and tens of thousands of dollars.
Just to help us, we're gonna go forward. If the right people aren't here to make that, then that's the choice the applicant has made. We'll go forward with the public hearing, this board will.
It's up to you. You wanna go forward, or you wanna do
We
it?
wish to move forward, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
I'm
all right.
reading under our 991 about approval. Condition of motion.
Okay. So we'll continue with the public hearing, and then this board will make its recommendation.
Thank you, Mr.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, we will open the public hearing. Before we do, we've got quite a lot of people here. I know all of you have something to say. But if somebody else has already said it, please limit it to, because we don't want to just be repetitive, go over and over the same thing again. We don't want to stop anybody from expressing their thoughts, but we don't want to be here all night either. So, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in favor of this rezone of this, conditional use request? Anyone in favor? Hearing none. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in opposition to? Yes, so we'll start at the front here.
I'm glad, my name is Jim Lawrence, I'm doing some property on Broad River, Madison County. I don't know if we're supposed to tell our administrator, but I'm glad they decided to go on, because all of these people came to speak on this, so it would have been pretty inconvenient for everybody here if we weren't allowed to. And it's kind of interesting because everything that he said tonight were points that I had looked at the comprehensive plan. Just to go back to the comprehensive plan, somebody acknowledged Madison County does not have a unified development code, right? So everything that you guys take from the public is in the form of this comprehensive plan and the zoning ordinances, I think. That's what you have to listen to make your recommendations, as I understand it. And so I also want to thank both Mr. Bradley and Mr. Scott, because both you guys called me back 2 weeks ago when I called out to ask about some of the procedures. And also Mr. Smith, that's not here. He is the one that this is in his district.
That's correct.
So he was very helpful to us afterwards, sort of telling us some of the processes. But, the way I see it, as the attorney said, this application's been put forth. I had already identified some of the exact things he read off and underlined them here to talk about them, because I wasn't sure the guys proposing this knew that. There are special protections in place for the river corridor. The river, the Broad River's a precious resource of Madison County and these other counties like Franklin County that need to be celebrated, and I think that is the citizens have been loud and clear in the comprehensive plan that that's what they want. And I underlined a bunch of stuff in here that just talks about the vision, but it all goes back to protecting the natural resources. Now I know one thing Mr. Smith pointed out is you guys love it when we've that we're not just here as a reaction because this is in our backyard. So it's a beautiful thing that this comprehensive plan was made through a series of meetings years ago to, with a lot of the people that are in this room were in these meetings, including myself. There are people in here that were on the steering committee for this. So this is what they've told you they want, you know, and it seems like this is pretty much the only thing we can go for, down to a lot of the details and the specific sections. Mr. Pruitt mentions here, you know, if this plan's being submitted right now, we have to accept it, or we have to make a decision, or it seems like you guys have to make a, you know, recommendation on it right now as is. I do know the applicant, and I will give Josh Smith credit for, I think he really has tried to say he wanted to reach out to the environmental groups, which a lot of these people are involved in here, in advance. So I'll give him credit for that. But what I see in the plan, what I see in the letter of intent, what I see in the plan, doesn't seem like that's consistent with what he is telling us they want to do. And you know, I'm not doubting his intentions, but it just seems like if it's not there and it's being presented as is, I don't see how you guys can do anything but at this point deny this application. So thank you for your comments.
All right. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Chris Irwin, 1673 Fred Goss Road, member of the Broad River Watershed Association Board. Looking at the plan and looking at the aerial map, I don't see how they can do all of the development that they want without disturbing a lot of trees. As a forester, 27 years at the University of Georgia Warnell School, I understand natural resource management. Trees die when you start cutting for pipes to pump sewage back uphill. You've got a separate watershed that runs through the center of this development. That's at 578 feet according to that map. There's a lot of, there are 28 campsites on the river side of the watershed. Are you going to cut it down? We don't know. There's no plan. Please make your decision based on the legal issues and also on the river's issues. How are you going to have a trail down to the river without having water management issues handled? How are you going to do all the cutting and filling required for all these big campsites and parking and roads? Where's all that water going to go as runoff? And it's going to be carrying sediment. There's a lot to this plan that I totally disagree with, and the river doesn't need it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Yes, sir.
How do you go, boy?
I'm sorry.
Ladies first, please.
Yes, please.
I've got a bad guy.
I'm sorry.
Carly Robinson, I'm the camp director of Camp Kiwanis. While it's not adjacent property, it is the property directly across the river. We serve the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Atlanta. We also serve a lot of our local community. Their proposed site is directly across from Flat Rock and our sandbar, where we do a lot of programming with youth. And the transient community using the waterfront, we happily share the waterfront with everybody. We know we share it, but I definitely have concerns with a 54-site RV campground that's touting waterfront playtime right where we are, and knowing right where we are, it's a major floodplain. 2019, that river went to 25 feet and washed out everything down in that area, including where a lot of their sites are located. And so my concern is for the safety of the river and, you know, more personal interest, the safety of the kids that we use that section of riverfront pretty heavily. And to have all of those trees cut down and all of that excess light pollution and noise pollution right there in a wilderness area is definitely disheartening. So I encourage you to decline this request.
Thank you. Yes, sir. You next.
My name is Michael Moody. I'm 112 Butcher Road, Carlton, Georgia. I have the Broad River Outpost, and I was one of the founding members of the BRWA and helped to make a comprehensive plan. And nowhere in our plan would this thing ever be appropriate. It's just, this thing could be great somewhere else. They could have this, and I think you guys would all love it, but not in the river corridor, not in the protected area. We've got people from around the state come here to buy land on the river, not to see this. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Name's Mark Hill, I live at 7298 Wildcat. Me and my wife just bought property there back in December. We bought that property to get away from people. All right? Our community is a small community. We like the small community. Also, another issue I have, I work with numerous firefighters, volunteers. Keyword, volunteers, in our area. If there was a fire to happen in that section right there, you would not stop it. It would go through her property, his property, my property, up the hill, through wildlife management. There is no stopping that fire. These campsites have lithium batteries inside of there. I work with lithium battery plant, SK battery. I'm gonna tell you right now, those things do not go out. They're a health hazard and a fire hazard. I recommend do not approve this.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Jan Little, I own property at 7400 Wildcat Ridge Road. If you could put up the, map that you had earlier, or I can hand these out to show you how close.
Just pass it.
My house is right here.
The zoning map maybe not what she wants.
There's also a house right there. I have smaller maps if y'all would like. I've been a Madison County resident for 33 years. I've owned the property that I just described to you for almost 25. For 25 years, I've been able to enjoy this quiet seclusion property affords to me. My house is not visible from Wildcat Ridge Road, and it's rare that a vehicle drives down my easement. I feel safe here, and I'm looking forward to many years of enjoying my property in my retirement. I can view the night skies from my living room or outside on my porch, and I particularly enjoy walking around in the cool, quiet mornings with my animals. Unfortunately, my quiet oasis is under attack. This RV campground that's being requested with this conditional use permit will change everything. These 54 RV spots and 10 campsites sets up the potential for hundreds of people to be at very short distance from my house, which will be clearly visible to them. In places, my property is only about 50 feet away from this proposed sign. What will become of my right to quiet enjoyment? What will become of my right to enjoy the natural resources and natural beauty? The application states in part, and I'm a little confused here now, whether we are intending to provide short and long-term accommodation for travelers, seasonal workers, and visitors. But I have a lot of questions. As we talked about, who's a long-term visitor, who's a long-term stayer, what's a seasonal worker? Who defines that they're a seasonal worker? This section of Wildcat Ridge Road, if you're not familiar, is right after the curves going one way, after the bridge going the other. I'm not sure how you will get large RVs safely in and out of this campsite. Also, my only way of ingress and egress to my property will be only a few feet from where they will need to enter. How will I be assured that these large vehicles will not block my right to egress and ingress to my property? How will the noise pollution be controlled? How will the night skies above my property still be viewable with all of the night light that will be required for such a property? What measures will be established to ensure my personal safety as well as the safety of my animals and my personal property? there are so many unanswered questions at this point. I respectfully request that you all deny this application.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My name is Joel Goldberg, and 1993 I bought my land there. Jan Little is the neighbor to my property, and she's also the neighbor through her overlook position to the expanse of what the 26 acres that Scott bought from me is. And, well, I'd just like to say it would be, that you could give, please, consideration to our covenant of quiet enjoyment, which would be just devastating, to have a couple of hundred people down below. And, the 25 acre minimum now for division of, the A1 zone, I just think it would make a really sweet spot for a family in a home, and it just be, it's a gym. The group of us neighbors that live between the wildlife management area and the river basin, we're so lucky, and we have low impact on the land. And when you have that much poo being pumped, there's something, Murphy's Law, at some point, sounds terrible to me. Please consider it. I ask for a denial. Thank you.
All right, thanks, sir. Anyone else that has something different?
I'm Cara Johnson, again, my partner, Joshua Jones. We live at 7396 Wildcat at Joel's property. We'll keep it quick just to honor the time of everyone, since many of our neighbors have spoken to these issues, but we just want to reiterate the negative impact both on the wildlife, the ecosystem of the river, as well as the neighbors. There is simply no way to protect from all of these issues. It seems like the applicants have really good intentions, and we want to make it clear that we're not opposed to progress or opposed to economic improvement for the county, but there is no way to manage truly the litter, the light pollution, the impact on the river, noise pollution, all of these things that it's very clear that the community values. This project in this place would not align with those things, so we would like to request a denial on those grounds.
And to add a few key notes, my name is Joshua Jones, and if she didn't fully say it before, we're the leaseholders for the property that belongs to Joel Willenberg, 7396 Wildcat Ridge Road, which is directly next to the 25 acres in question. So a few of the key notes. First and foremost is the same as Joel had said, which is the right to the covenant of the right of quiet enjoyment and the tenant's right to quiet enjoyment. And so, as exampled in all the different ways that you've heard and probably will continue to hear, that will be breached. The quiet enjoyment will be breached. And kind of in conclusion, the conditional use permit is a violation of the right of quiet enjoyment in many ways, many of which may have already been examined. This permit will be a substantial unreasonable disturbance and will not be harmonious with the character of the surrounding neighborhood. And I think that's a pretty good conclusion.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, anyone else?
I'm Dr. Marcelo George, Assistant Wildlife Professor at Morehouse, and I'm also a Madison County resident on Old Wildcat Ridge Road. We talked about a lot of the ecological impact, and wildlife is no exception to that. We know that with humans moving in, there's going to be disturbances there, altering predator-prey interaction, and their temporal movements and spatial movements there. And as someone who hunts on the Broad River WMA, we really can't have that there, and along with all the other reasons that everyone else has kind of spoken about. So just to keep it short, I would also ask for denial of this.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone else? Melissa?
Hey, I'm Melissa Tuck, live in Madison County. I want to reiterate that the main problem we're living in is a time where inspections and oversight are very thin. My understanding is right now the Georgia Department of Natural Resources is the entity responsible for upholding the regulations and laws concerning the Broad River, but it is sorely underfunded and understaffed. So local sheriff departments are not able to respond to remote areas quickly in case of emergency, and sadly local counties do not have the money to support their own role in ensuring safe use of the river. Individual landowners are left to combat misuse and damage, clean up trash, help stranded people, etc. So in addition to all the environmental issues, I want to point out that this would be a huge strain on our county's EMS programs, fire, as you mentioned, and policing. I urge y'all to not allow this particular development. We are a rural community with excellent parks, a wildlife management area where visitors can enjoy this important and unique natural resource. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm Olivia Wade, I'm John Silver's wife. I just wanted to, really nitty gritty little thing. We've got power lines cutting through right in front of his house, and those keep clear all the time. So there's no vegetated barrier you can plant there. There's no fence that you can put there because they've got to keep their lines clear. And that's right in the ingress egress of this park. So the house where the tenants live will never have privacy. Full stop. Okay, please, relax.
Anyone else? Bonnie, how are you?
Fine. My name's Scott Edwards, and I've been a friend of Broad River for 40 years, and the people are coming. And we need to put up a plan to help protect the river, and I just want to make a suggestion to the board here that we need stricter rules on the river for further setbacks of development so we can protect this for the future and not just love it to death.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
My name is Leslie Pope, and I've been working really hard at trying to help protect the Broad River, and part of that is in Franklin County, which Josh Smith knows about because he's the Board of Commissioners in Franklin County. There's a wastewater treatment plant they're trying to put there. Just a lot of the community has said stop the rendering. We've seen those signs. That's what all that is a reference to. This situation with the RV park is very concerning. I've actually pulled up on the map and just kind of measured how far the houses are. And as she mentioned, it's about 50 feet in some areas, 100 feet in others. The properties next to it are very narrow, and the houses are, they're really close, as you can see on the map. So, like everyone else, we're just requesting this to be defined. This is not the case. I've seen a lot of RV parks. We love RVs, parks in general. Victoria Bryant is 9 miles away. If anyone's looking to camp, we strongly encourage you to go there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? All right, at this point, then, we will allow the applicants to come back if you have any rebuttal.
Again, thank you guys for allowing us to speak tonight. I would like to reiterate that as far as the nature and the comprehensive plan and the theme, it does fall in line, in our opinion, with the county's comprehensive plan. I know there was some confusion in the public, and which was our fault for misinformation, for putting that verbiage in the intent letter. However, again, that is considered removed. We are strictly just looking for a short-term RV family-oriented campground. That's it. We're gonna have, as far as the environmental impact, I can assure you the state will be very much involved. The EPD will be very much involved. We're not skipping any steps with this process. We have no intention, we want to be 100% complete, transparent with the entire process. We have plans to hire engineers along with Aaron's firm with SPG in order to make sure that we do everything right. Also under the guidance of Tracy, which she has informed us that, that we know that there are certain rules that Madison County has that we're going to have to abide by, and we are absolutely 100% willing to do that. As far as the procedures, it was an oversight, I guess, or misunderstanding. We were not aware that we had to have the full plan ahead of us before coming tonight. So for that, I apologize. Maybe our council should have saw that as well. However, again, I would like to address, as far as the fire protection stuff goes, I can understand that. I've served 20 years in public safety myself.
We're going to keep the door open.
I served 20 years in public safety myself. I was a paramedic in Franklin County, even worked here part-time in Madison County. And so that is a concern, just like with any other RV park. But I know there's an RV park that has been approved, from my understanding, by Bulldog. They're going to do an RV park. And so I asked the question, what's the difference? It's still a voluntary fire system where they're going to do one as well. Madison County doesn't have a full-time fire department. I'm very supportive of volunteer fire departments. I was a member of one for a long time myself. So I would ask you to be, as far as the fire protection goes, I would ask you to be fair in that decision, or in that question towards us as well. Camp Kiwanis, Camp Kiwanis is a great thing. When I went down there and we toured the property, one of the first things, my kids was with me, and so one of the first things, second time we toured, I wouldn't let them go the first time, but when we went down there, they got this huge sandbar out there, and I said, this is it. This is the place. I felt like it would be a place for a family-oriented RV park. I understand the concerns of the neighbors. All I can tell you is that I promise we will do our best to make sure that there are vegetative barriers. We are willing to work with them, whatever they, would like to a certain degree. Obviously, we can't spend millions of dollars just to put in, whatever, but I know there's a compromise somewhere. We want to be a good neighbor. I would ask that you consider and you ask yourself this. You all are members of Madison County. Your families are. Is this a place, would you like to be able to take your kids or your grandkids to a place, if you own a camper, or maybe even just get in a tent for a weekend, and know that you can go to a place that is nice, it's not going to be run down, that's going to have every rule you have in place met, and most likely then some. This is not going to be a cheap project for us, millions. This is a long-term commitment to Madison County. And I'll also add that this is not going to cost Madison County taxpayers a penny. We're putting in all the infrastructure. We're putting in everything. So with that, I'm gonna ask, Aaron to address the, topography issues with the banks and the flooding zones. Because I know that was a concern, and so he speaks a lot more intelligently about that stuff than I do. So I'll just ask Mr. Aaron to speak with that.
Yeah, I'll bring the site back up. All the sites that are shown, the 100-year flood line is shown on there. All the sites are above the flood line. So here's the flood line right here. And we have every single site is above the flood line. That's done by FEMA. And so that, and then we're trying to work with the topography, and we would, of course, meet any buffers or vegetative buffers that are, added as part of a condition. And so once those are met, we could come back with a plan that would meet everything, state guidelines, Madison County guidelines, to pull that building permit to be able to build this at that time.
All right.
All right, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right, we will close the public hearing, and I'll bring it back to the board for any further discussion. From the firm's perspective, at this point, our attorney has pointed out some things that have not been met, that I personally believe have to be met before we can just move forward. With that being said, I'll turn it over for any discussion the board may have and entertain a motion to how we move forward from here.
For us to make a motion, because he did not meet the 9.1.14.
I mean, your decision is the same as always, as Chairman Scott always says, approve, deny, or approve with conditions.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to deny this on account of it didn't have all the proper paperwork.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to deny. I'll second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that this be denied. Any further questions or comments? Lee, I'll leave it on you.
Well, I will say this, while this, it might fit, may or may not fit the comprehensive plan, I guess that's arguable. I think it means a lot for a community to stick together, and if for this many people to show opposition to this when they're adjacent neighbors to this property, there's nothing to prevent the applicant to go back and, meet with you all and have something ready for the Board of Commissioners when it gets to that point. But at this point, I just feel like it needs to be a recommendation. So, yes. Yes.
I think that, Mr. Foster has a great product that will probably benefit if you can talk to your neighbors, because I think there's something else already there that's similar to what he wants. But because you were not able to bring all that you needed to, for the condition, I have to say
yes. All right, it is the determination of this board that we will recommend a denial to the Board of Commissioners. I would recommend that all of you be in attendance on November the 3rd. Again, this is a recommending board only, and we will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that it be denied. All right, that's all of our new business. We have one old business point to discuss auction bonds and livestock sale provisions to continue adding setbacks for the structure. I brought this before the board to discuss. I want to thank Lee for taking the time to look at other counties and see what they do as far as particular setbacks and things of that nature. My recommendation, as I've said in the past, is that, the setbacks, we meet setbacks for sales provision and auction block, and then I recommend that we do it, the same as poker house. I'm always open for discussion. If you think this is a good idea, if you think you need setbacks or you don't need setbacks, or what is appropriate.
Sure, I noticed that one of these is proposed by Madison County.
Yes.
That seems pretty.
Mr. Moody, could y'all talk outside or stay quiet if you want to stay in here for this discussion?
Sorry. I think it kind of follows the guidelines that you're looking for, doesn't it?
Mr. Gandy, I see, I've read what the UDC said, but I don't think that that's enough. I don't think that, and I have to look at what I would think that would be appropriate. I don't want a livestock sales place 100 yards from my back door. I think it ought to be more than that. That's just one personal opinion, and that's what I've brought before. I think the UDC addressed it, but I don't think they went far enough.
400 yards, 400 feet from your swamp.
I think it's 100 feet right now.
100 feet.
Residential districts is the way that it's worded. I'm assuming residential districts means R1, 2, 3. AR to me would be an agricultural. But I don't know why they worded it that way.
Right, well, they may have a definition of residential districts elsewhere in the ordinance.
So I figured, with the traffic and the noise, with auction and livestock, I think it should be further than 100 feet from a resident.
Well, it's 100 feet to a residential district.
Right,
Okay, that's the property line.
right.
And then there's 400 feet to the nearest dwelling.
That's for feedlots and hog farms.
That's different.
It's specific, our UDC draft specifically has a section in there now as a result of what happened, that combines livestock sales / auctions. And it specifically says 100 feet to residential districts. I'm assuming that if it's not residential districts, say it's to an A2 or an AR, that it would follow the typical setbacks for anything, whatever that may be, 15 feet or whatever it is. I don't know.
And my point being is, I'm not looking at property lines, I'm looking at residential, it's just.
I'm with you. I think it should be more setback. What are we talking about? How much is what you're looking for?
I'm looking for same as poacher houses, 300 feet. That's what that's my thoughts.
And most of them all has got 300 feet surrounding counties. Some of them got 200 as property line, and some of them got 300 years dwelling, and all up to 500 years dwelling, so. Coney County, I think, got 600 of the years dwelling, so. It's a poacher house. We just got 3. I think it should be, anything to do with livestock sales or auctions or whatever it is, should be at least the same as poacher houses.
Mr. Attorney, this has to be advertised, whatever we decide, right? If you want to probably hear it.
Yes, sir. The text amendment goes through those same as a rezone.
Same as a rezone.
So this is just discussion of
Right,
what you like.
it's just discussion of what we like, and if we like it, if we would like it advertised for a public hearing, we will hear what the public has to say about this.
But do we need to set the context for that and say that we're looking at doing this? So what is it that we're looking at?
I think we have to word the text as to how we want it. Do we want it 100 feet, 300 feet, 200 feet? Now, what does this board want to present to the public as how we want it?
I feel real good with the minimum of what the present poultry house is, but it could be even more than that.
Well, that'd be up to the board. That'd be up to you guys.
Well, I'd say, make a recommendation that run it advertising for 300 feet from house dwellings, years dwellings.
I'm agreeing with it, it'd be 300 feet.
300 feet from dwelling or property line?
The property line.
From the property line.
Property line, 400 feet to a dwelling. Basically, yeah.
Okay.
See, most house right now, UDC's got it 300 to the property line, 50 to A1 or A2 zone property, so would that be, then
So we want 100 instead of 50. We want from property line 300 and 100 to the what are we saying? Because they have 50 feet to A1, A2.
Now,
We want
if I understand it correctly, what we're saying is we want it to be within 300 feet from the property line, 400 feet from any residence.
okay.
Another question, to consider is, with a poultry house, that's a discrete object, we know where the corners of the house is. Are you talking about, in this case, the corners of the building or structure where the auction is being held?
You're the guy that's doing.
Mike, I'm gonna be, you could, I mean,
Yes, go ahead.
If it's large enough, you could have outside holding pens, you know. But I think where the livestock is, needs to be the perimeter of that.
That's going to be a tricky definitional
Yeah.
task, I believe.
Probably the best thing to do is just say structure.
But your point's well taken. I just don't know exactly how to do that.
But you will.
No, sir, I won't. No, sir, I don't have an MPA in planning and zoning. I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to make a comment. Your Unified Development Code, is written, I believe, and I have not discussed this with anyone, but it appears to me that it's designed, among other things, to be administered by professionals, to have resolutions with customized as well as standard conditions for every application that comes forward. And that's the way it usually works in other places, because it's impossible to anticipate everything that could happen in a zoning ordinance. But it can be anticipated by professional zoning professionals who craft conditions for the elected officials to approve.
Okay, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. Right now, we have UDC working on some stuff. We don't have them. They haven't made a final draft as of yet.
And I think they're finding, and again, I have not talked to them, but I suspect they're finding that a difficult task because of the demands of every time there's a meeting, they get a call with, hey, we've had 2 or 3 other things come up you need to put in here, because
Correct.
It came up once.
I agree. I agree with that. But what I don't agree with, what I do want us to do is to move forward as if that doesn't even exist at all. Because until they come up with a plan, then we have to keep operating as a county and as a P and Z board and as a board of commissioners, we have to keep operating as if they don't even, exist until that is put in place.
You have what you have now, unless and until it is replaced by something else.
Right.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So I'd like to move forward with this in some kind of, we're not gonna get it perfect, but we do have to come up with some type of, I believe that we should come up with some type of, wording to put in some setbacks, because I feel that it is inappropriate what we have now. We don't have any setbacks at all. And I just don't think it's proper to put these things.
Talk about no setbacks for livestock sales and all. That's what we're trying to hone in on.
That's right. That's what I'm trying to hone in on. Now, Tracy, I got a question. Who typically writes what we're proposing?
As far as the amendment change?
Yes.
Well, it's just, suggested by whatever verbiage this board comes up with, and then I type it to that effect, and then it has to go before the board commissioner to see if it's approved, and, you know, that's generally how the text amendment works.
Okay. So is it appropriate to say that this board would like to use the verbiage as is used in setback for poultry houses to be the same as this? Is that?
Well, we just did poultry. Or,
We use the same verbiage.
Well, livestock sales and auctions can go in A1s and A2s, correct?
Correct.
So under those particular zones, that's in our, that's where poultry houses is addressed, is under A1, the setbacks. So I guess something just needs to be interjected into A1 and A2, that livestock sales / auction needs to be a 300-foot setback. I mean, treat it the same way that we would poultry houses, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So you're referring to 7113?
What does 7113 say?
It's a very long paragraph.
Yes. That's where the poultry houses is addressed.
Right. And it's, and poultry houses are only allowed in A1, so that's the only place that appears.
But in this case, it's they're allowed in A2s and A1s.
Yes, sir.
So you would
Have to put it in both places.
Okay, do we need a motion to advertise this, or how do we have that?
Well, you don't initiate amendment, the board of commissioners does. You could take a vote to, make that recommendation to the board of commissioners if you want to. But it won't be advertised until they vote to direct the planning department to do that.
Okay, so I need to present to them at the next meeting, to put this on the agenda to be advertised?
Forget advertising. Talk about it as a board-initiated rezone. So, the last thing I heard was you want to recommend to the board of commissioners to do a board-initiated text amendment to the zoning ordinance to impose the same requirements found in 7113 for poultry houses on livestock sales pavilions and auction blocks.
Okay.
Is that what we're saying?
okay, it says habitable dwelling. Now that is the auction house, that's the auction house, right?
No, ma'am. That's the thing it's close to.
Oh, okay. All right, I just want to know.
Yes, I agree with what you're saying. Okay, we can do that,
So do we as a group agree on 300 feet?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, do we need,
Do you agree on everything that's in 7113? 300 from common property line, 400 from the nearest habitable dwelling, earthen berms, all the many things that I do not feel like reading out loud here.
everything in 7 point, whatever it's.
113.
7.113.
Or do you want to put this off to your next, you have another meeting, 2 or 3 weeks, to have time to read this?
I think we need to read this.
They ain't gonna rush to do it, but we postpone it and postpone, I mean, it's fine, we need to postpone it again, but, at some point, we need to come to.
I need to look at the codes again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's,
Things that I'm doing.
it's up to the board, y'all, don't
we'll
want
put it off to we grade this.
to our business meeting,
Business meetings, yes, sir.
to our business meeting.
Our attorney wants to make sure I know what I'm talking.
Okay, all right.
I got one other question. It's good in mind, I know. But the email we got first of last month, the woman did suing us. We got anything worried about that?
I honestly don't know off the top of my head what you're talking about, but I wouldn't discuss that except in the executive session anyway.
It's yours. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And to add what he said, I think that's a board of commissioners, that they deal with that, they'll have to deal with that. Because we work at our discretion.
Yeah, I recommend.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We have a second?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Meeting is adjourned. Did either one of you guys lay this here for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will contact Tracy and take care of
Yeah,
this.
she brought that and said to just give it to you.
Okay, I'll contact her.
Perfect.
All right, thank
And
you.
like explained, it was
I must have missed
Thank you, guys.
Well, this wasn't the longest meeting we've had, but it was close.
It's close.